with a departure from WWE and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John. You're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we move on, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Rambles with notifications on, and don't forget to like the video. Touching on the status of Vince McMahon's office at WWE headquarters, Ringside News wrote that on a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed the aftermath of McMahon's departure, revealing that his office at WWE headquarters remains untouched. Meltzer noted that the iconic T-Rex skull, a hallmark of McMahon's workspace, still occupies the office, suggesting a sense of preservation amidst the company's transitional phase. However, there has been no confirmation of any further action regarding McMahon's office contents. Nobody. It's empty still. The last I heard it was T-Rex skull, but I wouldn't know. I don't know if they've taken stuff out of there, at least as of a couple of weeks ago. They had not given anyone the office. Tom Carlucci, a longtime associate of McMahon dating back to 1987, provided additional insight during a recent appearance on the Insiders podcast with Conrad Thompson. Carlucci disclosed that McMahon is currently prohibited from accessing the new WWE headquarters, underscoring the gravity of the situation surrounding his departure. He can't even walk in the building. That's crazy that you drive by that building and you got that big championship belt. He always wanted us from day one because we were in two different buildings. We had the corporate office off exit 9, and then we were right down the street from the corporate office. Our big production studio. He always wanted us under one roof. That was his dream, to have us under one roof. The dream came, and he's not even a part of it anymore. Explaining his absence from the commentary table on Raw this week, Pat McAfee said this on his show. "My father-in-law passed away unexpectedly after the show ended yesterday in a hospital here in Indianapolis, Indiana. He had been in the hospital fighting an infection, and on Friday we were told he was probably going to be discharged on Sunday, and they had figured it out. We had high hopes, and then yesterday as the show was ending, my wife calls me and I have to get to the hospital because there was an emergency. I head over there. What my wife and her mom and her aunt saw go on was her dad being a badass and trying to kick ass and losing his fight on this particular day. Whenever something blindsides an entire family, it can be devastating. My wife is a daddy's girl. Last night was obviously a difficult night for our family, and it was a nice reminder. Thankfully, my wife and her mom with her dad, the last things they said, Bob, who was a great man, was, 'I love you.' I feel this was a nice piece of perspective and a nice moment to tell someone you love them." AEW star Britt Baker has been absent from the promotion since September, and she was recently spotted in a video where a karate session was taking place.
Why you always flexing, bro?
And why you flexing? I see you flexing right over there. You flexing.
Over there. He's totally flexing.
I don't know what they talking about here. They need to chill out.
Yeah, I need you to relax. Okay? You need to relax. Just chill out.
Chill.
Going over what took place prior to his return to WWE, Seth Rollins told Comic Book Nation, "A little fluctuation. I had a few weeks' notice. We kind of looked at the timeline of the injury and looked at the stories and where I fell back into place. You never really know how things are going to go. The top of the card here on Raw is stacked. You have guys like Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk whenever he is around and able, Gunther waiting in the wings, Rey Mysterio, Judgment Day. It's stacked. It was interesting to see where I could slide in. The time felt right. Coming off Clash at the Castle, it was ripe for the picking. Damian Priest needed a challenger, so I hopped right in." Following the loss of his and Mrs. Tag Team belts on Raw, R-Truth had this to say to fans in attendance. Here's the video.
I apologize to y'all. I apologize to you two days. I messed up. I apologize to y'all. messed up. I apologize to y'all. I apologize to you too, Liz. I messed up.
Asked about a potential return to in-ring action for WWE, AEW, or even TNA, former WWE star Lacey Evans said this to Carlo Peruzza. "Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling, don't get me wrong. It wasn't my passion, but I love the hard-hitting action. If there's a company out there that will bring me in to kick ass and get my ass kicked, that's great. But right now, we are focused on a lot. We have a lot of investment properties. We invested from all the blessings that WWE has given us. We have a construction company, my husband's a general contractor, which we've run prior to WWE, so we do a lot. We also teach our kids work ethic. We have Airbnbs, we have properties, we have a cafe named after our girls. I homeschool, I take all that very, very seriously." Giving praise to WWE President Nick Khan, Chief Content Officer for the company, Triple H told the Pat McAfee show, "I've never met a better businessman than Nick Khan. That is too intuitive to just what is going on. It was funny for a few years before the TKO merger where we would do earnings calls and I felt like the investors wanted to know as much of Nick's opinion as of what was happening to outside sports as what was happening in WWE as he was talking because his insight is so good. Plus, it's funny that he, at one point in time, if you would look Nick up, he would be seen and be written like most powerful man in sports, doing all of these massive deals, but in many ways, he's not a massive outside sports fan. He doesn't know that much about all these other sports. He does, but he's not. You would think that he would be so into it. What he's really into is combat sports like boxing and MMA, and what we do in pro wrestling and WWE. He is just a massive, massive fan of that, grew up, was an usher at WrestleMania and Caesar's Palace. He's just super into it. So when I first met him, having that insight from him on all these other business things that we were doing, and him giving me his opinion that always 99% of the time ended up being dead on, plus him being such a big fan, we just got along amazingly well. Then we were lucky enough to have him come into the company, and I'm lucky enough now I get to work with him every day and get his insight on everything. McAfee says he's a genius. Yeah, absolutely. I don't put that kind of stamp on a lot of people because I think a lot of people are really good at what they do, and that's where it stops. He's a genius. Mentioning the night he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, Goldberg said this to Busted Open Radio. "There's so much of a responsibility on a night like that. I didn't have as much fun as I should have had because I never really live in the moment. For so many people who have dedicated their lives to the craft, I always will forever feel guilty that I get any accolade." Speaking of Goldberg, The Undertaker brought up what he should have done differently during their match in Saudi Arabia in 2019, telling Chris Van Vliet on Insight, "I should have picked up on the fact that he had his bell rung and then he rung it again when he hit the post. I should have been sharp enough to adapt at that point and not try to get to where I was getting. It was a scary match to be in. When you have long periods of time where you don't work, man, you lose that sharpness, the mental quickness to figure out things. That was something that I always really prided myself on. If something happened, knowing what to do. It was nobody's fault, just what happened, happened." Prior to his winning of the WWE title from Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes shared a moment with John Cena as he said this about it to Behind the Turnbuckle. "It's probably really easy for me to say WrestleMania 40 itself, both nights. There is a particular moment at WrestleMania 40 that will stick with me forever. It's not necessarily the 1, 2, 3, as much as I was really big under the learning tree and a student of John Cena's. I liked his model from a businessman as a babyface babyface character in wrestling. More than that, I liked the model and the standard he is as a human being, as a good ambassador for wrestling, as an authentic ambassador. Our fans can smell when this is not authentic. He was the right person for that job. We're in the ring, and Undertaker and Rock have their moment. John is off camera against the back wall, watching the end of Roman and I as we're both coming up. I just got to make eye contact with John. I don't think I've ever learned anything more in my life than just the moment of eye contact with the captain, the leader, the dude. He's out here to be a part of this for me. It's super touching. Having that moment with him, just brief contact, knowing I'm about to turn around and what's about to happen. That's the high of highs. Revealing that his son Owen had recently gotten into the ring, Kevin Owens told NHL Now he's 16, he's back there behind the camera, he's 6'8", he's hard to miss. He got in the ring last week for the first time, so yeah, that might be an avenue. It was pretty awesome to see, and with WWE obviously, I'm able to kind of bring him to the best possible place to start training, so it's great to see him kind of have the interest, at least give it a shot and see what happens. Yeah, it's a real thrill. Addressing a potential debut for AEW, former WWE star Mandy Rose said this on the Power Alphas podcast. I appreciate that. There's no reason I'm not there. I just haven't decided on if I'm returning to wrestling right now. Never say never. I don't know exactly, but you guys will be the first ones to know. Recalling a part of his match against Logan Paul at Crown Jewel in 2023, where Paul appeared to adjust his position in the ring to catch him off of a springboard moonsault, Rey Mysterio said this to Chris Van Vliet. They're hyping it up, and I know Logan took the credit for it. No. So that's funny because I always do that moonsault, and I try to advise him that I don't jump out, I jump up. So you might have to take a step in to be at the right spot and catch. So sure enough, I jump up and not out like I had said, and I mean, he caught me. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he caught me. But if he would have been there, I would have moonsaulted and just landed on my tummy. But he did make a good save. He did make a good catch. And the fact not only that he caught me, but that he powered me up, you know, he caught me in a squat position and he took me right back up and we continued. Yeah, he's saying respect, man. I saved. He would have landed on his head. I give him respect for his ability and for how good he's become. But not for saving me, not for saving me. No respect for saving me. No respect. No respect, Logan. In that same interview, Rey Mysterio touched on the role Triple H played in convincing him to accept a WWE Hall of Fame induction. So when that was brought up to me, Rey, we want to induct you into the Hall of Fame, and it was Hunter that mentioned that to me. We were thinking of doing it in LA. It's so close here to your hometown. And my first response was, but I'm not ready to retire. Like, no, you don't have to retire. We just think that it's the perfect spot to induct you to the Hall of Fame. I was like, wow, I really felt it was just such a cool moment. That was one of my goals, and it was on my bucket list. Revealing a departure that took place on the afternoon of the 24th, Ringside News wrote that another notable departure has shaken WWE as Chris Kaiser, the executive vice president of WWE Television, has parted ways with the company. As reported by PW Insider, Kaiser's exit marks the latest in a series of executive changes within WWE. Footage from the audience revealed how WWE got Jacob Fatu under the ring prior to his SmackDown debut. This was posted by Brock Lesnar Guy on Instagram.
So I'm going to be that magician that ruins all the secrets for wrestling. So what you just saw, if you ever wonder how they hit the Undertaker under the ring back in the day, before the segment, you can kind of still see him. A group of tech people will come out, there'll be one person, not sure if you can see him right now, one person will be with them that's completely covered in a hood, and they'll stick him under the ring, and whoever that was will come out. I mean, it wasn't probably one of the Bloodline members, but that's exactly how they snuck Undertaker out of into the ring back in the day. So, sorry to spoil a little secret stuff.
In some unfortunate news, one half of the Wild Samoans tag team and father to Roman Reigns, Sika Anoa'i, has passed away, as his nephew, Jarvis Anoa'i, wrote this on Instagram. "It is with profound sadness that I share the news of the passing of former Hall of Famer Laiva Leati Sika Anoa'i. He passed away peacefully on June 25th. Sika was a celebrated figure whose contributions and legacy have left an indelible mark. His memory will live on through his achievements and the many lives he touched. He was many things: a hardworking father, a caring brother, a supportive uncle, and a proud grandfather. He was a cherished friend to many, a loving family member whose warmth and kindness knew no bounds, and an inspiration to countless individuals. His legacy will continue to inspire and uplift future generations, reminding us of the impact one person's life can have on so many. Rest in love, Uncle Sika." Many would pay tribute to the legend, as WWE said. WWE is saddened to learn that Sika Anoa'i, a WWE Hall of Famer, one half of the Wild Samoans tag team and father of Roman Reigns, has passed away. WWE extends its condolences to the Anoa'i family, friends, and fans. Adam Pierce wrote, "Godspeed, Sika. Your legacy and contributions to our wonderful industry can never be questioned. My heart goes out to the entire Anoa'i family, their friends, and everyone touched by this. Rest well, sir. My respect always." Bully Ray said, "The first tag team I ever saw and the reason I wanted to be a tag team wrestler was the Wild Samoans. My sincere condolences to the entire extended Anoa'i family. God bless and rest in peace, Sika." Taz wrote, "When I was in high school, WWF did a show in our gymnasium. We, the football team, were security for the guys to go to their cars after the show. I had the honor of walking Afa and Sika to their vehicles, and they both were so nice to me, had me laughing a lot. Great memory. My deepest condolences to Roman Reigns on the passing of his father, along with the entire Anoa'i family on losing this Hall of Famer and pure legend. Rest in peace, Sika." Brian Gewirtz wrote, "Rest in peace to a true legend." Frankie Kazarian said, "Rest in peace, Sika Anoa'i. Godspeed, sir." TNA Wrestling wrote, "TNA is deeply saddened to learn of the passing of legendary Samoan wrestler Sika Anoa'i. We offer our sincerest condolences to his friends and family." AEW said, "AEW and the wrestling world mourn the passing of the legendary Wild Samoan Sika. Our thoughts are with his family, his friends, and his fans." And Michael Hayes wrote, "Words cannot express my feelings on the passing of Sika. If not for Sika and Afa, there would be no Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, Fabulous Freebirds, period. Sika was, as always, like an older brother to me. Prayers to Afa, Joe, and the entire family. Now, Sika rests with God." And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.